Hi, my fellow writer friends. You will be halfway through NaNoWriMo as I'm recording this. So I just thought I'd pop along with 10 tips to help keep you going for the second half of the month. Let's get started. Tip number 1, celebrate your progress. It doesn't matter if you've got to 25,000 words by now, 10,000 words by now, or even 5,000 words by now. It does not matter. Celebrate the fact that you are showing up and that you are trying to do this because your dream is important. That said, tip number 2 is revise and revisit your goals. The NaNoWriMo word count for 2023 is 50,000 words, which works out at just around 1,600 and something words a day. But for people with busy lives, family commitments, and everything else, this isn't always possible. And if you start to fall behind on your word count or on that designated word count every day, it can be very easy to just say, oh, I can't do it, and put it away. Instead, just reframe your goals. Make it 100 words a day or 200 words a day. Make it a really, really small goal that you know that you can achieve every single day. And then when you do more, you're ahead of the game. There's no shame at all in revisiting the goals to make them work for you. And that brings us to point number 3, which is breaking your writing down into smaller chunks. Now, this might sound like more work, but it actually does work. Like I'll quite often be writing 2 books at the same time. And when I do that, I will write on one book for about an hour or something in the morning, or sometimes even half an hour, because I'm trying to learn how to do this dictation thing. But on the other side, then I'll go and do something else. I'll do some crafts, I'll do chores or whatever, and then I'll do my second part of the writing later on in the day. So even if you're able to manage like 15 to 20 minutes in the morning, and then maybe later on at night, or maybe you can get some words in during your lunch break, don't think you have to do the whole thing in one go every day. Break it up so that it works for you, remembering every single word you get down is one word closer to your goal. So consider doing that. Another thing that you can do, which is tip number 4, is look at a way of feeding your creative muse. It's really, really difficult if you're bogged down with the stress of paying bills, of working, of your family, of maybe you've got, something going on at home. It can be really difficult for your creative muse to shine just because you sit down in front of a computer and tell it has to. Look at trying to find still time here and there to do other things to nurture your creativity, whether it's reading a good book, watching a show that you enjoy. I find that with movies, I like watching something I know I've watched before, because then I already know what the outcome is. And it's actually the same with reading books. If I'm feeling tired or a bit run down, I like to read books that I've read before, because I already know what the outcome is, and then I can just enjoy the world that the author's created. And that does help nourish my soul. So definitely consider doing something like that. Another thing that I do personally is I've got a whole stack of canvases out in my garage, and I will just go out there and I'll randomly pick 3 or 4 colors, and I'll slap them all over the canvas, just literally pour the paints onto the canvas, grab my hairdryer and zoom over the paint, and create bright and colorful pieces just for the heck of it. Because the color is those colors that feed my soul. So that's, just something else I can do. So look at what speaks to you, whether it be walking out in nature, watching a movie, reading a book, or doing some arts and crafts to help feed your soul, your creative muse as you go through this journey. Another thing that can help is tip number 5, which is connecting with somebody supportive of what you're doing. Now, ideally, it would be somebody that you know, because obviously we always feel more comfortable if we're doing the NaNoWriMo with a friend or something like that. But if you can't find that, That's where NaNoWriMo really shines, because there are communities on the NaNoWriMo site that you can join in, and nobody judges you and nobody gets at you for anything. But you can go in there, and if you buddy up with somebody and then make yourself accountable to each other, it makes the writing process so much easier. And even though we are at day 15, it's not too late to go in and do that. Find somebody who's perhaps feeling just a little bit lost like you are, and it's not hard to do, and give that a try. Another thing you can do, tip number, I'm running out of fingers, 6, is to change your writing environment. Now, this isn't always easy if you're just writing on a computer, but as I said, I've just started thinking of doing dictation and learning with a little voice recorder to do my writing that way, because it's easier for me, or it's proving to be easier for me. But for you, I mean, just about every device possible now has some form of text document on it. So you could write, or you could be sitting outside and typing on your phone or on a tablet or something else like that. Just go and change, or take your laptop and go to a coffee shop, or go and sit in a park, or do something. Change the environment. If you're finding it difficult, just writing sat, in your normal four walls, change those four walls and go and write somewhere else, and you'd be amazed at what you can do then. Just sometimes being out and about amongst people, even though you're not interacting with them, is a really awesome way to give your creativity a bit of a boost. Another thing that you can do, which is tip number 7, and I'm not even going to try the fingers for that because, my brain's not working so well. It's really hot here today. So number 7 is participate in writing sprints. Now, I have mentioned them on this channel before, that I have writing sprints over on my other channel. I'm not actually doing NaNoWriMo over that because I actually found myself getting too tired. But there are, I think last time I looked, there's something like 134 writing sprint videos over there that you could use if you, to just depending on your time span. Go and do that, because tapping along with a video is like actually writing with a friend. Alternatively, see whether somebody else in your Nano group is happy to do writing sprints for you. And I do know there are authors that do actual live writing sprints. So if you can find one that fits in with your time zone, that could really work for you as well. Just remember, while it's fun and a little bit competitive, don't compare what you do to somebody else, because competition is the thief of joy. So I've been told. I've actually got a t-shirt with that on. Tip number 8, and it leads into that. Focus on the enjoyment of writing. You've committed this month to write your novel. That is huge. Your dream is worth it. You are worth it. But focus, instead of thinking, I've got to dash to the end of the month. Don't. Be in the moment. Enjoy the process. Your words will flow a lot easier. Your words will flow a lot quicker. And you will feel so much better about yourself when you get to day number 30. Which brings us to another wee point, which is tip number 9, using rewards and incentives. For me, it's chocolate. Enough said. If I get my word count down in the day, I get myself another little chunk of chocolate. I think it's worth it, but you set the goals and rewards as they work for you. And finally, tip number 10 is to remember why you are doing this. You had a goal to write a book. You want to tell a story and you want to share it. You deserve it. You should definitely do it. And remind yourself that this is your dream and it is worth working for. So keep writing, my friends. Keep going. And as always, hug the ones you love. And we'll catch you in the next video. Keep going, my friend. Keep going.